Prepare yourself, because together, let's uncover and rediscover the hidden practitioner within inside you. You are the power you seek.
Good day, Bravehearts. Welcome to another Doc Demo Live. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and today's show is Fibromyalgia and Scoliosis. Reverse the so-called irreversible. Now, let's understand something and get this straight right off the bat. Fibromyalgia is not a disease. Oh, and wait a minute. All diseases are not a disease. Disease names are only to help you to kind of understand the symptoms that you have that you don't know are symptoms of your body saying, I love you. You have a terrible relationship with me. You don't listen to me. You don't know how to talk to me. Sounds like almost every couple's relationship to me. What do you think? So the reality is that we have been taught from day one, okay, to disrespect ourselves. We have been taught to not know how to listen to our body. You do know that pain, swelling, inflammation, night sweats, fever, aches and pains, they're all just your body going, I love you. Why can't you love me back? This is all about self-care, all about self-love. And most people are never, ever going to get this. And they're never going to get this. Do you know why? Because the biggest program that has been instigated on this planet, okay, is subconscious, fearful programs that are steeped in self-hate. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Think about it. Think about this. The only time that you have a disease and you feel pain and suffering, okay, is when you've been in conflict with yourself or some issue emotionally. And what happens is that emotional issue becomes issues in your tissues. If you can't successfully bring peace to conflict, then the conflict becomes trauma. The trauma is what affects us. So if you understood that image creates thought, and thought creates emotion, and emotion creates frequency, and depending whether that frequency is negative or positive will depend on the chemicals and hormones that you create. E equals MC squared. Energy creates mass. That energy is emotion. We're emotional beings. The reality is that people aren't just going to get this. On Friday morning, I did a one-a-day called World War III, Shock, Trauma, Conflict. And that is what is being used against us by our family, our friends, the government, the medical system. Okay? Once you buy into shock, trauma, and conflict for yourself, what do you think you give to everyone else? You can't give what you're not. You're only going to give what you are. So I don't care what the physical condition is. I care for the person, but I don't care what the condition is, because the condition first started off as a psychological condition and then went to a biological one. And that's the end of it. So if you get somebody with fibromyalgia, you got to understand what that is. Fibromyalgia just means fiber is fibro, my muscle, fiber muscle, algia pain. Fiber muscle pain. Oh my God, I've got fiber muscle pain. Well, you're going to have that if you eat a bunch of sugar, flour products, if you stress yourself out, if you drink alcohol, if you have no self-care, then you have self-hate. But no, I don't hate myself. Well, you are running hateful programs on a subconscious level and you don't even know it. Most people won't even smile unless there's a joke. If you need a reason to smile, then your mind is already twisted. Understand something. There's nothing to be happy about. I have nothing to be happy about. Well, understand something. When you smile, you alkaline your body. You bring down the acidity. When you smile, you expand. When you don't smile, you contract. When you contract, that's when you get into trouble. Now, fibromyalgia just means pain in muscles. And the only reason why you got pain in muscles is because you got inflammation. The only reason why you got inflammation is because you got infection. Now, you might have infection from inflammatory products like dairy, sugar, flour, alcohol, like I just said, cigarettes, vaping. Do I need to keep going? But the main one is your mind. We're going to be talking, okay, to Cindy. And I want Cindy to think about this before I bring her on. And I don't want her to fib, because I've been watching Cindy right now and her face. And if you watch Cindy's face and her daughter's, you'll see that her daughter still has hope. Cindy has a deep sadness on her face. Deep sadness. She walks around sad all the time. She's sad. And why is she sad? Because she was never taught to fill up her own heart. And she was taught that she'd get her love from mommy and daddy, from the children, from her husband, from the dog. And understand something, that's a twisted way to live, because it's very temporary and it's very toxic. Because guess what? For most people, it's very toxic. And what do families do? They hold love for ransom. If you do this, I'll give you this. If you don't do this, I'll hold back on this. There was many times in my life that I wanted to make love to my partner, and she just went, nope, you didn't give me this. You get over here, get in the corner. What did I do? You know what you did. So understand something. If we don't learn to fill up our own heart, it's not just a bumpy road. It's a landmine. And that's the God's truth. Scoliosis is a twisting of the spine. And why is it a twisting of the spine? Well, because there's no balance on either side. There's no balance. This side's pulling, this side's pushing, this side's pushing, this guy's pulling. You know, it's a tug of war. And I guarantee you, if you were to take a look in the minds of the people that have scoliosis, you'd see that they have a tug of war going on in here. So if they don't have conflict resolution with themselves, and I'll tell you right now, I know that Cindy probably won't want to talk about it, but the reality is she has not resolved issues for years. And as long as she doesn't resolve those issues, things get twisted. You know, you are your thoughts. You are your thoughts. There's only another time in my life that there was 2 other times in my life that were more stressful than the last 2 weeks of my life right now. And you wouldn't know it. You might say, oh, well, I've seen a few of his videos and he looked a little bit more tired. Well, yeah, I'd say it, I got a little bit more tired. But guess what? I focus always on what I want. I always make sure I fill up my heart with love and joy every day, so that I'm not demanding from everybody else to fix me. And you know what? Here's the deal. If I said that to a 4-year-old child, up until about 8 years old, even maybe 12, they would get it like this. You tell that to an adult, and it just hits a stone-cold wall. Because understand something, the subconscious is 90% of your brain. And those issues in your tissues are deep-rooted in your subconscious. And if you have never been taught that you need to have a little mini-you on your shoulder and monitor what you eat, think, and drink, and do, and say, then you're going to pay. So I want them to think about it before I come on. Because it's really important. Because if truth be known and Cindy is awake to this, then she knows that when she gets stressed out, her scoliosis gets worse. When she gets stressed out, her fibromyalgia gets worse. And fibromyalgia just means pain in your muscles. And when you got pain in your muscles, that's inflammation. And when you've got inflammation long enough, what happens? Well, just like anything else, it's a fire. So it's dehydrating the tissue. When you dehydrate the tissue, you shrink it. When you shrink it, you pull on your spine. Because the tendons, the ligaments are not as long. So it pulls everything out of place. But what if you don't understand that? And what if you don't understand that lengthen and strengthen exercises are what Cindy should be doing gently 3 times a day? And that if there's a deep-rooted program in her subconscious, it's called muscle memory. So what happens is that if you do something long enough and strong enough, it doesn't just become a prominent, dominant belief in your subconscious. It gets rooted in every cell in your body, accepts it. So you have to work on yourself emotionally, and then you've got to do exercises that are going to straighten out the situation physically and to relieve you of the scar tissue that created the knots. Here, let me show you. So Cindy and everybody else, this happens to people with scoliosis even more though. So here's how long the tendon is, the muscle, the ligament. But the more blood supply it has, the shorter it can become. Muscles have the most blood. Tendons second. Ligaments third. So now, that's how long it is. Now, if I keep the fire going, I create a knot. Ask Cindy, I feel like I've got knots in my back. Yes, you do, sweetheart. Now, guess what? Is the rope longer or shorter? It's shorter. If we don't untie the knots, it's never going back to the way it is. So go ahead, go to the chiropractor all you want. Go get a massage. Oh, that feels better. Yeah, what, for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? Chiropractor puts it in, spine pops back out again. Because that's not the issue. The issue was here before it was in her body. And then the reality is if she's not turning the scar tissue back into beautiful connective tissue, then it's not going to be elastic and it's not going to stay there. But understand something. Let's think about it like this. You can cut the tumor out. But did you cut out the belief that caused the tumor? Now, this might be way over people's heads because it is. Holy smokes, man. Whoa, come on. Whoa. Because people do not look at themselves as a spirit being, as an energy being, as a light energy being. They look at themselves as this physical thing. That's the last thing on my list. And the reality is if you're not going to unconditionally love yourself and get rid of all guilt that you've ever done, I don't care if you're a born-again Christian, which I was raised as, or you're a staunch Catholic, if you don't get rid of the guilt, sinner's syndrome, I'm a failure, then guess what? You're running beliefs that are going to what? Make you feel naughty. And when you feel naughty, you create knots in your body. It's as simple as that. And most people aren't going to get it. You know why? And I'll tell you right now, it's not because Cindy isn't a genius. It's not because she's not intelligent. It depends on how prominent and dominant the beliefs are and how beat up she was when she was being raised as a child. Let me tell you something. A lady just came in. Her name is Shirley. She's here right now to get some non-surgical work. And her son is going to be taking my whole life coach and my non-surgical course. And the reality is, we just had a discussion before I came to do this show. And she said, you know, Dr. Wolfe, I was beating myself up all the time. And then she showed me this little card and had my saying on it, you know, that image creates thought, thought creates, you know. And she goes, I got it. I finally got it. At my age, I finally got it. I'm rocking my world. My son, and I don't know, she must be in her 70s. And she goes, my son, he was so sick just 9 months ago. And without even coming for a consult, following your stuff, his whole life has changed. You gave him back his life. Well, I didn't give back his life. He was open enough to love himself, to care for himself, to do things for himself. I guarantee you something right now. Cindy, and I'll tell you right now, and, you know, people fib to me all the time. All the time. I'll even tell them to tell me the truth, and I know they're lying to me. And they're not lying on purpose. Your subconscious will cause you to lie to protect a dysfunctional belief, even if it's killing you. Now, when we talk to Kelly, she's Cindy's daughter, I'm going to ask Kelly, I'm going to say, hey, your mother's the type of woman that'll do anything for anybody, but she won't do it for herself, right? And then she's going to go, yeah, you're right, Dr. Wolfe. That's the way she's always been. And my mother, if Kelly wanted to really open up and tell the truth, she would say, my mother won't do things for herself. she'll do for others. And my mother will suffer. When somebody's sick in the family, she will suffer so much. But guess what? Ready for this? Kelly's mother, Cindy, doesn't know it, but she uses other people's suffering to feed her biggest belief in her mind. Life is about suffering. Why do you think she has scoliosis and fibromyalgia? It's all about suffering. This is my life. This is what I'm meant to do. And the thing is it's not just Kelly or Cindy. It's every woman has been raised this way. Not saying that they all are this way, but this is what the institutions have done out there, is taught every woman that when someone's sick in your family or someone you care for, you need to suffer emotionally as much as they're sick to show that you love and care for them. Are we like insane? Welcome to Cindy's life. So Cindy's going to go, well, he's just going to give me a couple things to do and then I'm on my way. I'll tell you right now, Cindy will not dare love herself unconditionally. She'll never do it. Never do it. Because somewhere deep below, even if she doesn't go to church, she's going to think her subconscious will go, you're going to go to hell for that. If you totally love, honor, and respect yourself, you selfish woman, you'll go to hell. Somehow you'll pay. Anyways, I know I'm a drama queen, but this is something that I come up against all the time. And whether you believe this or not, I've been looking at Kelly and Cindy, and guess what? You know what? Let me just tell you a little story before you think I'm just totally whacked out. When I was 12 years old, I got to be what? Baptized again, because my father thought, because he was a part-time pastor, that I had the devil in me. Because I would see people walk in since I was like 6 years old, and I'd say, nope, they're lying. Nope, not a good person. No. I just speak out loud. And understand something. It doesn't really matter. Cindy and Kelly can tell me I'm absolutely wrong. We've not talked yet, but we will in a few minutes. And I just know that their subconscious is protecting it. And that's okay too. Because when people talk to you, you got to get this. I don't like my mother. I don't like my father. Well, you know what? They don't like themselves. Okay? Because the reality is when you talk to a human being, they're actually a human doing. There's very few human beings on this planet. And when you talk to someone, you're not talking to their heart, their spirit. You're talking to their subconscious programs. They don't even know that they're running. There. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning.
Hello.
Holy, okay, you just blew my eardrum out. So why do you think she said it so loud? She wanted to show me that she's powerful and she can take her life back. Good for you, girl. Okay. Probably the loudest she's been all week. Okay. So.
That's how I address people when I say hello.
There it is. Hello. Okay. But try not to yell. Okay. Because I've got these earbuds in here. Okay.
I gotcha.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So. Cindy, how old are you?
61.
So good. And when did you first get the diagnosis of scoliosis?
I believe I got it right around 2010.
Okay. All right.
I was told it was an acquired scoliosis.
Drake, you got to turn it down. She's going to blow my eardrums. Okay? Okay. Go ahead, speak again. I just want to make sure we get the volume right.
I was told it was an acquired scoliosis.
A little louder, thank you. Just a little. Go ahead.
In 2010,
Yeah.
I was told I had scoliosis and that it was an acquired scoliosis.
Oh, acquired. And where did you acquire it? Macy's?
I acquired it from the school I was working at, I guess.
Oh, the school gave it to you.
The school gave it to me.
Oh, how did the school give it to you? This is a good warning to teachers not to go to school. Okay, all right.
No, I wasn't. I worked in the school kitchen.
I understand that, but this, okay, then don't work in the school kitchen because you'll get scoliosis.
No, it was.
I'm trying to play with you here because I'm trying to show you didn't get it from the school. You didn't get it from the school kitchen. You would have gotten it anyways.
Okay.
Okay,
What did
and
you ask me for?
the invisible creates the physical. Okay, all right. The school didn't do it because then there'd be a warning: do not come into the school kitchen, if you think you're going to get scoliosis.
Right.
Okay, all right. I just want you to know that most of the stuff they make up out there is so full of it. It's so full of it. Okay, like fibromyalgia. That's just a pain in your muscles. Okay, all right. Scoliosis is twisted joints from hyper-inflamed muscles. Okay? All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep going, though.
That's it.
Well, no, you got it in 2010, so what did you... And how bad was it?
The scoliosis wasn't. I didn't even know that I had it.
Guess what? Now, here's the deal, everyone. Okay? News flash. Everybody has scoliosis to some degree. And it can be straightened out. And she went to a doctor that saw a little bend in her and told her she had it. And because medical doctors, when they say something, it comes from above. It is stamp approval. I've got scoliosis. So now, there you go. It's just like this is genetic. And diseases aren't genetic. They're epigenetic. And they're habitual because you live with that person. And understand, they did this big study called the Genome Project, which they never told anybody they did it. It cost them multi-millions. And it came out that, guess what? Diseases aren't genetic. Cancer's not genetic. So they don't even want to talk about it anymore because that blows their whole theory. So now she acquired the scoliosis. It's like she stepped in it in the kitchen, or she got it on her hands and she scratched her back, or... Okay, so understand, isn't it great, okay, there's nothing we can do for you. There's no cure. It's just a play. Everything can be reversed. But the reality is that we're going to be able to find enough self-love, self-care where somebody can feel comfortable enough to take that much time for themselves when they've given all of their love and care to their family and the world, and then trying to do it for themselves. The first thing your subconscious says is you're selfish. So what did you do to try to correct the scoliosis?
Nothing.
Okay, because why? Because it was acquired?
It wasn't bothering me.
Okay, so what is it you'd like from me then today?
Yeah, so now it's really bad. Now it's really bad.
Okay, before we go any further, remember something. We've never talked before, have we? And I told you just by watching her and watching her daughter that I could tell that she would never do anything for herself. Where somebody really loves, honors, and respects themselves, and in the world of religion, or in the world of the majority, you are self-centered if you try to work on your body and make it perfect, which is absolutely upside down and backwards. But because she was taught that it was selfish to focus on herself, which I can see she hasn't, okay, ever. So it wasn't a conscious decision that when they told me I had scoliosis, that I didn't want to do anything. It was like, okay, I had scoliosis, now I got to get back to my job, and that's serving everyone, not myself, first and foremost. So I need you to get this because, love, you just reconfirmed everything I just said, and I'm not trying to be a smarty over this, because understand something. Do you know how much love you deserve, Cindy? All the love in the universe. But you need to understand something, okay? And Kelly, you're going to have to get your mother. Do not let your mother go to the bathroom anymore without looking in the mirror and saying this. Cindy, I will love, honor, respect, protect you unconditionally from this moment on before anyone else or anything else. So help me God, I love you. And if she were to do that 10 times, your mother would go, she'd say it this fast. And she wouldn't even be able to look in her eyes. She wouldn't even be able to look in her eyes. Your mother has not looked at herself in her eyes ever in her life. Maybe when she was 3 years old, 4 years old, she did that. But something, and the way she was raised, that was over. Okay, so you didn't do anything. So when did your scoliosis start to bother you, love?
What was it? The back pain.
Back pain. Actually, I had that. It was in 2008 that I was told I had scoliosis, but I didn't go to the doctor. That wasn't the reason why I was at the doctor's that day. I was going for a DOT exam.
A DOT?
Exam.
What's a DOT?
The DOT.
It's like a physical that you need for a special type of license to drive a school bus. So just like a physical.
Okay, all right. So, okay, good.
So that's when they examined my back. That's when he said that you have scoliosis. Were you born with it? And I said, I don't think so, because, like at school, they always checked all the kids' backs. And mine was always, they never said I had anything wrong with it.
Well, I don't believe you really did. I don't really believe you did. I believe you might have had a little curvature to it, and that's all, okay? That we already got that straightened out. Look, we just worked on a lady that has scoliosis so bad that underneath her scapula on the right side, she had it 2.5 inches higher, a big mass, because of the constricted muscle. She came to us, and she came to us now 3 times, and we have it down by 80%. Now that's a scoliosis. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to show those pictures right now. So Drake's going to put the pictures up and show them to everyone, and that's what a scoliosis is. And understand something. From now on, what is your lesson here, Cindy? You question authority. You question the government. You question the medical system. You question Dr. Wolfe. You don't trust. You don't go around not trusting, but you don't trust what somebody has to say. There are so many power-hungry people on this planet that say the most ridiculous things.
Oh.
And you know what? Men pick on women. That's why it's called manipulate. I guarantee it wasn't a man doctor. A woman doctor. Was it a man doctor? Yeah, of course it was. And that's 99 out of 100 times. And men doctors most of the time are chauvinistic, okay, power hungry, okay, all right. And I'm trying to tell you that there was a time in my life when being a practitioner, I was chauvinistic and power hungry and didn't even know it. I would just love having the power over people. Look what's going on in the world today. It's all just a handful of people are strangling the whole world with a lie. And you got strangled with a lie with the scoliosis. Oh, yeah, sure. There might have been a little curvature, but you have never worked out, have you? Like, you don't work out. You don't do any exercise, do you? And that doesn't mean going for a walk. Walk is not an exercise. We have to walk just to get to the toilet, for God's sakes. Okay? So I'm talking about exercises where you lengthen and strengthen.
Yes. I've always been active.
What's the exercise you do?
My gosh.
Right now she doesn't, because she has too much pain in her hips and her shoulders. She used to be at the gym all the time.
Okay, but understand, the gym is not a healthy exercise. And this is what everybody does. That's not a healthy exercise. More people get injured from the gym than anywhere else on this planet. The other thing is your exercise for your mother would be lengthen, strengthen, detox, and tone. And I could show her if she did foam rolling, if she did the pelvic squats that are on my, if she did the belly button therapy. Okay, if she did the belly button therapy, which is 5 to 7 minutes, and this is a belly button therapy wand, right? If she did belly button therapy first thing in the morning before she got out of bed, do it again at noon, and then she did it again before bed, and then she did it whenever her back was bothering her, I hope you know that she's going to release 70% of the serotonin, 50% of the dopamine, and the pain goes away right away. And if she were to put in, after she does the belly button therapy, if she puts in 2 drops of frankincense or immunity, or immunity essential oil, okay, and 2 drops of CBD, and it could be a CBD THC split, just 2 drops in her belly button, it will actually activate what? 72,000 nerves to heal her. Now, doesn't take a lot to do this. Next thing is if she practices the 3 pelvic squats that are in my library, and same with the belly button. It's in my library at the do-it-yourself guide. And if she gets herself, guess what? If she gets herself a pelvic expander, do you ever see me do that on yet? If you look in there, it's where you put one leg up on this board. You lay on a massage table, or you can buy them. Called a Pelvic Expander. You can buy it from somebody in Canada or United States. We don't make any money on it. Or you can go and you can put your leg upside of a doorway, okay? So let's say you had a doorway. Let's say that door goes and it goes downstairs. So now you've got that opening there. So what you could do is you could get, if it was flat on this side at the top, you take 3 chairs, you lay on the chairs, and you put your leg right up against the door jamb. So I would put my right leg, and I'd hang my left leg into the doorway with the door open where the stairs go down. Now, for your mother, her pelvis is probably frozen with scar tissue crystallization and calcium. So,
She has a ton of hip pain.
okay, but we'll get to that in a minute. You don't have hip pain unless you've been pooping in your pelvis, and I'm going to explain it. And I'm going to show that I'm right about this. You know what? This stuff is so simple. If you were to go watch How to Become Number 1 at the Art of Number 2, it's a masterclass in my library, your mother's going to go, oops, poops, got it. Okay, so now you hang the leg, and if this leg hurts too much in the pelvis, you don't have to do that. You can put a chair or something so that you can rest it so there's not as much pressure. Okay, but these are what she needs to do. And understand, I'm going to tell you right now. We're going to get back to this in a second. If somebody in your family is in trouble, your mother is there 110%. Trying to get her to stay at a schedule and stay focused for herself, well, there's going to be the trick, okay? Now that, good luck with that one. And the reality is the only way we could get her to do it is to bet that she can't, because she's that kind of person. She's stubborn. Your mother's a stubborn woman, and that doesn't work good for her, but she doesn't realize that. So the only way I could do it is to get her goat. Get her goat. Well, I'll do it. I'll show him. But we don't. But that's the only way we could get her to do it, because you got to have enough self-love, self-care to stay on target. And if you don't have that, it's not a case of right or wrong. It's just an is. Okay. So belly button therapy, pelvic expander. Getting a foam roller, get one that's longer, not a short one, about 30 inches long. I know, but you got to actually use it. You have to actually create a schedule and you stick to it. You know what? There's a genius in everyone. My son is a genius because he's one of the best choreographer, ballet, you name any dance, he does it all. Why? Because it's his passion. He lives it. And if you're not passionate about being healthy, then you're always going to be sick. If you're not passionate about having a beautiful, lovely life and just filling your heart up with love, then you're not going to have a very good life. That's it. Sorry, but you're not. That's it.
I do fill my heart up with love. Okay.
Yeah, from other people. Thank you. Okay. We're not going to use other people. We're going to get up in the morning And we are going to celebrate in our spirit and fill up our own heart. When I say that you fill your heart up with other people, let's ask you a question now. And then we'll get into the nutritional stuff. But I'm hitting on this more, and I don't mean to, but you're pulling me in on an emotional level right now. You're pulling me in to say this. I'm not doing this because I want to. I go where the vibration is. So let's be honest. Think about this. Close your eyes and give me an honest answer.
Okay.
How much do you fill your heart up with your daughter's love?
Every day.
Okay, good. Okay, how many other children do you have?
I have 2 other children.
Okay, so that's 3 children. Okay, so how much does your daughter fill your heart, percentage-wise? Your heart's 100%. So how much of your heart of love from your daughter do you put into your heart?
100%.
Okay, so that means that nobody else gets to put any love into your heart.
I get it from, it comes from everywhere. My heart is full.
I understand that, but you're not getting this. There's a big thing that I need you to get here, and I don't know if we're going to be able to make that hurdle. Okay. You are not to take anybody else's love and put it in your heart. You are to create enough love to make your heart full so that you are thankful, and then you take the light from that heart, because that's a lot of light, that's a lot of beauty, that's a high vibration, and you give that to the world, that light. You shine that light on the world. Okay. This is a kind of a concept. I'm not telling you that I don't feel love from my children, my partner, from the world. The reality is I fill my own heart so that if my kids are busy and they can't contact me and tell me how much they love me, if they can't be there for me, I don't get upset. Understand, how often do women get upset because they're not appreciated by their husband or the family with all the work they do? How often have you felt like that, Cindy? Honestly, please be honest. You already know the answer. You didn't have to think about it.
Plenty of times.
There you go. So guess what? I need you to get this. I don't want to win. I want you to win. This is not about me winning. So plenty of times. So I need everybody who's watching this right now, you need to get this. Plenty of times. So she gets love just as much as she gets hurt. And when she gets hurt, that twists her mind, which twists her spine, which causes more inflammation. And we haven't even got into her diet yet. So understand something. The day I stopped using my children, my partner, the world, to give me the love I needed to feel self-worth was the day that I set myself free. And guess what? It does, if we could get to a point that it doesn't matter if our family loves us, we'll love them anyway. If we can get to the point that it doesn't matter what people think of us, we will love them anyway. We don't have to like their beliefs, but to love them anyway. If they don't show up or our mind says they let us down again, we can't keep on hurting ourselves. And Cindy, you set yourself up so much. I'm telling you, yeah, you do. It's continual. You know what? Everybody in the family just loves you. And when you feel they don't love you, they're still loving you. But you don't realize they've got their own stuff they're working out. Their own dysfunctional beliefs they're working out. And let me tell you something. Families are the curse or the blessing. And let me tell you something. You know what I do? I go into families and they come here and we go to their homes, but they mostly come here. and we will do a whole 5 days of emotional rescue for families. And those families will say that we all love each other. And I have hardly ever seen a family that knows what real love is. Because until everybody loves and fills up their own heart in the family, everybody is pushing each other's buttons all the time. And don't tell me that you don't have times when you're pissed off at your children, your partner, but this is all just beliefs. And they don't even know what they've done wrong because they have their own programs. So if you don't want to get into self-love and self-care and understand that you need to fill your day up with stroking and loving Cindy. Let me see you do this right now. Come on, do this. Stroke yourself. Stroke yourself. Love yourself. Let me tell you something. Isn't it kind of funny, eh? How we're supposed to love ourselves, but if we get caught doing it, it's bad. Yeah. There's nothing dirty about loving oneself, and I'll tell you that right now. And that's the problem we're in right now. That's why we're in this situation, okay? Because everybody doesn't know that they're running hate programs. You know what? I'd like to see you, Cindy, and everybody that's watching right now. Let's see if Cindy can hold a slight smile for the rest of the show. And let's see how long it takes. I tell you, we're going to be good for now because she's kind of a stubborn person. She's going to try to hold it, but I guarantee you she'll break it before 3 minutes is up. And then her daughter's shaking. Yes, she is. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay. So there you go. And you know what? The same thing that we have can work for us or against us. So I'm being stubborn and I'm going to hold the line and love myself. I'm going to take the time and do what I need to do for myself. So there's a good and bad in everything. Not bad. There's no real bad, but if we're not, it's all about, okay, let me just ask you this, Cindy. Please don't do this. How much joy is in your regular day?
A lot.
Oh, really? Okay, tell me about it.
Well, I just get joy stepping out my back door and listening to the birds sing. I love that. I get joy when I go look at the stars at nighttime.
Okay,
and
good.
I talk
That's
to
great. Okay. That's all beautiful. That's all beautiful, but I'm talking about joy from yourself. How much do you enjoy yourself? That's what I'm talking about.
I enjoy everything I do every day.
Okay, I'm going to leave this. We're going to move on.
Thought about that.
I know you've never thought about it. So, and I don't mean that in a bad way. We've been programmed not to think about that. So I got to leave it alone because you're not ready to do this. And I'm not doing it because I'm not getting my way. It's just that, ask your daughter. She knows what I'm talking about exactly. You've got a wall, and it's like the Berlin Wall, and nobody's going to get through it today. Rewatch the show, talk to your daughter, let it simmer. You can come back on my show sometime if you want. But the reality is guess what? We're not going to push it if it doesn't fit. You know what? I'm going to tell you something.
I enjoy myself during my days.
Okay, let's move on, okay? I didn't tell you that you're at home crying. That's not what I'm talking about. Think about this. I don't want an answer. What's your value? I already asked you how much you fill your heart up with other people, and you do it 100% with everyone else, but you don't do it with yourself. Do you understand? So understand this. Go into my Braveheart emotional training course. It's free right now. Braveheart free. Put it in. Okay, start doing. Let me see you start going, and every time you go to the bathroom, that you look in the mirror, and let me see, and you be honest. Let me see you look in the mirror and say, you know what? I love you, Cindy, first and foremost, before anyone else or anything else. I will take care of you. We will straighten all this out. I got your back. I got your back. All right, let's move on. So what's your diet like right now?
All right, on a typical day.
No, on your worst day. Your worst day. Because
on my
everybody, whenever you ask somebody what their diet is like, they give you the best day because they don't want to let anybody down or get anybody mad at them. And I'm not going to do either of that, because you have to understand, if we can go through life without judging but just observing, and then just learning and without burning, because judgment gives burning and observation gives learning. So when I ask you your worst day, because believe it or not, your worst day is actually sometimes your most day. Okay, go ahead.
On my worst day, my diet is
How's that smile coming?
an English muffin for breakfast.
Okay, right off the bat, no English muffin for breakfast, but go ahead.
That's my worst day.
Yep. Keep going with your day. Just walk through it, and then we'll start again.
Generally, for lunch, I have a sandwich on organic bread with organically, it's grass-fed, like turkey.
Okay,
Turkey or
good.
chicken sandwich.
All right.
I drink about half a gallon of water a day, and then I have
How much
supper
do you,
at night.
how much do you weigh?
About 124.
Okay. All right. So you need 3 quarts a day because you're twisted and inflamed. So understand, we need 3/4 of an ounce for every pound we weigh today because of EMF and 5G and 4G and all the electrical that we don't see. At one time, it would have been a half an ounce. There's no way you can keep the fire down. Okay? And it needs to be structured water. What kind of water do you drink?
Spring water.
Spring water. Bottled?
Yeah.
Well, that's not spring water. Okay, that's just a name. And it comes in a plastic jug? So it comes with xenoestrogens. So it comes in with cancer-causing chemicals in it. Okay. So we got sucked in again. Okay. And the water's been sitting stagnant for how long? That's right. You don't know. So understand, bottled water people, think about it. Who in their right mind would buy bottled water? Seriously. So we don't want to do that. We need to take control of our water, because water is most of our body. 70% of our body, 90% of our brain, 99% of our blood, 98% of our blood. So the reality is water is much more important. So people who do not understand health buy bottled water. And if they do buy bottled water because you have to structure it, or you got to filter it. You can get a carbon filter if you want, but you can't trust it. If you structure all the water you drink, you'll never have to worry about anything, even if it came just from the tap. But I'm not telling people to do it from the tap, but if they understand structured water, you would understand you don't have to get rid of the toxin to get rid of the negative from the toxin, even if it's still in the water once it's been structured. So anyways, I would tell you to try to work with 3 quarts of water, and I'd also tell you to do 1 quart of hot water first thing in the morning, because you have to untie the knots. When you've got beef jerky in your body, which is dehydrated tissue, inflamed tissue, fibromyalgia, scoliosis, you know, if you have beef jerky and we used hot water or cold water, which one's going to soften it quicker?
Hot water.
Thank you. So that's also going to clean the body faster than cold water. So the other thing is this. Now you did the muffin, then you did the sandwich, and now what'd you have for supper?
It's usually a protein and a vegetable.
Okay, so now you're going to eat another animal protein and then have a vegetable. Is it going to be a cooked vegetable?
It's semi-cooked.
Okay.
If I don't cook it just part way, if it's a vegetable like carrots, they cook for like 2 minutes. If I cook spinach like in a stir fry.
Can you hold 1 second? It's really loud in my ear. Okay, go ahead. So it's a stir-fry vegetable, maybe.
Maybe, and if it's not in a stir fry, then it's
It's too low
it's
again,
raw.
Drake.
It's
Drake?
on in a second.
Okay, it's what?
Raw.
It's raw. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so let's go through your diet. So that's basically what you eat. What are the snacks? Crackers, cookies, tacos. What is anything? Sweets, candy.
Apples.
Okay, good.
I eat a lot of apples, bananas, and if I'm going to have a snack, I generally will make popcorn, but that's maybe a couple times a month.
Okay, love. Thank you. Okay, so let's look at it this way. So everybody needs to get this. Okay? So the first thing you do is you start off in the morning with sugar and flour, because that's a muffin, right? So when you eat that muffin, there's not a muffin that doesn't cork you up. Okay? That they all cause constipation. The other thing is that you should not, if you've got an inflammatory problem or you want to heal or stay healthy, you know, I don't have anything until 1 o'clock every day. I have a blender drink at 1. I mean, I do drink water. I do ionic calcium water. I do fulvic in water, okay, like I've got here, okay? I've already drank 1.5 quarts, almost 2 quarts today so far. So I do a lot of liquids. But see, if you eat any food prior to 11 or 12 o'clock, you shut off your cleansing. Now understand something. Do you remember when they used to say that breakfast was the most important meal? Well, that's when we used to be farmers and work out in the and do a lot of hard work. We needed to eat a meal because we went out and worked all day. Sometimes we couldn't come home. We were out in the field, so we just take a sandwich or something. The reality is that life was healthier back then, and we did a lot more physical work. We're not doing that today. If you want to be healthy and get rid of your scoliosis and your fibromyalgia, which just means pains in muscles, which means you have inflammation, it's mainly because of your diet. A muffin is a chocolate bar. Say it to me. A muffin is like eating a chocolate bar for breakfast.
A muffin is like eating a chocolate bar for breakfast.
That's right. Now, how does that...
That's me on my worst day.
Okay, but understand
It's
something.
my worst day.
Okay, but understand something. We need to talk about that because it's not going to get better unless we talk about your worst day. So now it's made out of flour. It's not made out of grain. It's out of flour. Flour is like sugar to the body. Excuse me. So now, excuse me, then you had a sandwich, which was you took a meat and you took a starch. So you took a protein and a starch, and now you caused more constipation. You can't take starch and meat together and not be constipated unless you're really got great core, you work out, but I still wouldn't do it. Sandwiches are unhealthy. What? Yes, they are. So now you had more flour, and then you had meat. And understand something. You're already jammed up. Your bowel movements are not good. They're not good, and we'll talk about those, and then you'll tell me they are. But then we'll talk about them, okay? Then what did you have for supper? Now you had another animal protein, okay? So you had another animal protein for supper, and then it was a stir fry, or maybe you had some salad. The only way you're going to turn around this condition, and let me tell you something. Would you like to reduce the pain in your body, or would you like to be vitally healthy? You know, when people come to us, we go, what would you like to be? Oh, I just want to get rid of the pain. I don't want to make any changes in my life. Good, we'll do that. The reality is listen to me. Everybody's got a great diet. If you ask anybody, I have a great diet. Meanwhile, they have 1 or 2 autoimmune diseases. Tell me I'm wrong. Everybody's got a great diet. I guarantee you that if we were talking to Kelly right now, okay, that she's got things that are wrong with her. And guess what? Because everybody's walking around with diseases, it's so normal that it's normal to be sick. This is a sick, sick world. Sick emotionally, sick physically, and I'm not trying to put it down, but 86% of the population has 1, 2, or 3 autoimmune diseases. 80%, no, sorry, let me take it back. 84% of the population now, I just saw a study done, is overweight. 45% is obese. And guess what? People that are obese, you know what they say when they come to me? I'm perfectly healthy. Perfectly healthy. Which we know they're going to have heart disease and diabetes. Okay? We know it's coming for them if they live long enough. And the reality is now everybody, okay, what used to be called health is when you're actually healthy. Do you know what the definition of healthy is right now? I'm not in the hospital. That's it.
What a shame.
Well, it's no. We got to get back to the self-love, self-care. It's never going to change out there. Corporations and the medical system, there's no fixing it. There's no fixing it. Corporations own the medical system. If there's no fixing it, it's done. It's over. You can't undo this. The only thing that you can do is just love and care for yourself. I hope you're starting to get this, Cindy, because it's like a slow thing right now, trying to get this, to get you to get this, okay? All right?
Gotcha.
Okay, watch my other doc demos, and you'll see they move along a lot quicker. People go, boom, boom, yeah, got it. And I'm not trying to tell you you're supposed to be faster. I'm trying to tell you you've got some emotional blocks.
Right.
Okay.
I know I do.
Okay, see, now I couldn't have got that out of you 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, you could have just asked me. I could have told you.
It wouldn't have come across like that. Do you understand? You wouldn't have said it. You can say you would say it, but this is the feisty little part of you we were talking about earlier. Okay, so now, what do you think? What do you think about looking at the perfect day? The perfect day would be getting up in the morning and doing a quart of hot water, putting tummy love into it. Also taking, okay, how was your bowel movement today? Or did you have one?
I had one.
What did it look like? How easy did it come out? Was it?
How easy.
I need to know this.
It was very easy.
So was it mushy? Was it loose? Was it watery?
I think it was just about right. I didn't struggle with it.
Okay, so tell me how long it was. Tell me what color it was.
I don't know how long it was.
Okay, did you even see it?
No, I don't like to look at it.
Okay, so now, do you see what we're doing here? Okay, now I'm going to be honest with you, everyone. She didn't look at it, but she was telling me how easy it was, how good it was. Okay, that's great. So do you see what we do? Her subconscious was actually talking to me, not her. That's the protection thing that she does all the time. Now, here's the deal. She doesn't have good bowel movements. It's impossible. It's impossible. Okay, 80% of your diet in weight volume, if it's not a whole plant-based diet, fresh and raw, like blender drinks with berries or large salads, it's not going down. She had a muffin, she had a sandwich, and then she had another dead animal protein at supper. Nobody eats dead animals and has good bowel movements unless they're taking something to get it out of there. Because everything is vibrational. Either you're bringing life into your body or you're bringing death into your body. So 80% of your diet, I'm not against people if they want to eat animal protein. I don't want to do animal protein anymore. I'm not saying I'll never do it again. But the reality is that animal protein has zero vibration. You have to break the animal protein down into amino acids. Where do you think the inflammation's coming from with her? Look at her hips are so painful and her low back problem. It's because she doesn't have good bowel movements. And I'm telling you right now, if I told her to take a picture of every bowel movement she has and she were to do that for us, we could get down to the nitty gritty and find out that her bowel movements sink to the bottom of the toilet. And usually she does have to strain to get it out.
I never have to strain.
Well, then guess what? Then you've got infection inside of you from inflammation.
Yeah, it's mucousy. But
Okay, there we go. We did it. Do you see how hard it is to pull stuff out of her? This show would actually end up being 4 hours if I do everything that I usually do in 45 minutes with others. So now here's the deal. She's so constipated, okay, that she's so constipated that her bowel is making all this mucus, saying if we don't make tons of mucus, she is going to eat out the lining of the large intestine. And already, if there's tons of mucus in her bowel movement, you've got to get something. That means that she's got leaky gut, which means that there's a one cell tight junction, one cell thick in your intestines, and she's burnt it out. And that's going in, and the actual toxins from the poop is going into her bloodstream. And guess what? Here's a pelvis, everyone. Here is, okay, so we got the cecum here, okay? And then we got the cecum this is the beginning of the large intestine. Okay, this is the ascending colon, transverse, descending, sigmoid, and then it comes down here. Guess what? She is so constipated. And she's so constipated that now her bowel's inflamed, which means that her stool will be mushy, mucousy, and even sometimes loose. And the reality is, she's got her own private manure pile, and she's putrefying, rotting in her pelvis. That goes into what we call the pelvis, which is the soup bowl, and the infection is filling up here, and the infection is now in her hips, and it's in her lower back, okay, and it's inflaming the tissue, and eventually she might have to have hip surgery. Now, she would never have to have it. Even when people come to us and they say, oh my gosh, I'm booked for hip surgery, but they can't get me in for 6 months. I go, guess what? In 3 months, you'll never have any hip pain or any surgery needed. Yeah, but they say I'm bone on bone. You're not. The calcium's being pulled from the hip bones, and it's actually calcifying the cartilage and the tissues, trying to protect it from wearing out. So as soon as you start to get on a whole plant-based diet, as soon as you start doing the ultimate coffee enema, as soon as you start cleaning out your bowel, as soon as you start drinking structured water, as soon as you start loving and caring for yourself and getting rid of the dysfunctional beliefs that you're a bad girl, that you're a sinner, that you're a failure, that you're a poor mummy, that you're not a good lover, that who in the hell would like you anyway? Get rid of all that stuff because it's not true. You got to find the authentic you.
It's not true.
Well, I know that, but guess what? Then stop doing it. What?
She's stubborn. She can't help it.
I know, it's okay. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, because I'm telling you, this show is taking a long time, and I'm sure, it's hard. It's hard. Yeah. Okay. You know, it's like this, if I can say something. Did you ever have somebody go, stop treating like that? What are you talking about? I treat you like this all the time. Yeah. You don't know you're asleep until you wake up. That's all I'm going to say. Let me tell you something. There aren't bad people. There are people with bad beliefs. And those people, we need to help them to find loving, caring beliefs for themselves. That's all you got to do is let yourself off the hook and love the heck out of yourself. That's all you have to do to win the game down here. That's all you got to do. But guess what? I'll talk to people, and they'll go, I don't know what you're talking about. And they'll go, oh, well, do you love yourself? Oh, of course I do, especially women. And then after about maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, they'll go, you know what, Dr. Wolfe? And I'll go, what? I don't even know what self-love is. What the hell is that? And that's exactly what they say. They'll actually use that word that I just used. Understand something. I have no goals here. I don't want to be right. I want to be happy. And I want to see other people not wanting to be right, just happy. But you can't be happy unless you are going to totally unconditionally love yourself well. That's it. And then people go, I don't even know what that is. Well, that's why I built a library. That's why you're supposed to go into the Perfect Day 4 pillars, and you've got a whole schedule about exercise, emotions, nutrition, and diet. You know, tell you, men are closed-minded, and women, they're the givers, but they don't know how to give to themselves. They've been programmed that way. This is me, Dr. Wolfe. No, it's not. It's not you. We don't understand that it takes work to find the true you. And when you do, there's no man, there's no system, There's nobody that will ever rule you again. You don't have to raise your voice. You just have to say, listen, I love you, but no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm holding the loving line. This is about me. Learning how to say no to everybody because you want their approval. Learning how to say yes to you is the biggest step you'll ever make. Okay? You're not going to have 86% of the population with an autoimmune disease, which means attacking oneself. That's what that means. Go look it up. If we weren't attacking ourselves. Okay. So I'm going to be putting out, like I said, you go. What you need to do is go, Cindy, please, and go watch the A to Z masterclass in my library. It's 2 hours. It's going to show you how the emotional turns into the physical and how you got this. Then you can go and look at the spinal treatment and the hip treatment, and we'll tell you what we would do, or we'll also tell you what the medical system will do to you if you don't want to love yourself well. Okay? Also, go and watch the 6-hour masterclass, How to Become Number One at the Art of Number Two, and then tell me that you're a great pooper. And understand something, okay, that you need to get this. You're not a great pooper. You're a terrible pooper. And the poop that comes out of you smells and it's rotten because you're rotting inside. And it's full of mucus because you're so inflamed. Are we done yet? Are you done protecting your poop? Because I'm not after your poop. I'm trying to help you. And how long have we been here, Drake? Almost an hour. So we're going to have to finish this in the next 10 minutes. I'm not going to be able to go through the other stuff, okay? And I need you to understand something. We don't want to slug through life. All right, so just know this. You need to be on the daily cleansing tea. You need to be on the tum. I'm going to tell you what you need to do, and then guess what? You can do it or not do it, or you can think Dr. Wolfe is just trying to push me, doesn't know anything. It really doesn't matter to me. But understand something. I'm really good at what I do, and I've been doing it for 40 years, and this is not coming from ego. This is coming from a place that if you watch my videos and you even knew me, you would understand that it's all about the heart, and it's all about giving people back the heart. Here's your heart back. How often has your heart been broken? Don't answer it, Cindy, and you'll find out it's been broken continually. Okay, so you might want to think about that. So I don't want to fight with you anymore. I don't want to struggle with you anymore like I've got boots filled with water on, okay, in them. All right, so now, daily cleansing tea, Tummy Love Black Gold. You need to get on it. If you decide to order these things, call me. I'm extension 5. You got all my help in the world, love. But I'm not going to struggle with you, okay? All right?
Okay.
Okay, so daily cleansing tea, Tummy Love Black Gold. And you've got to get that bowel in order, okay? I would also suggest that you get yourself the DMSO cream, rose cream. And you also get Pain Away essential oil. And you also get a product called, you have to call this in though, okay? It's called C60, okay? Because C60 is 250 times stronger than vitamin C, 250 times. And it neutralizes free radicals, and that's what's going on inside. Okay, I'd also suggest that you get the Sinonian mineral formula because it has 150 different nutrients in it because you don't get proper nutrition in your diet. We know that.
What do you suggest for, she has a ton of scar tissue because she's had a lot of surgeries.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Well, here's the deal. The scar tissue that she has, New Hampshire. Where's that? Like in states-wise? Like what other?
Northeast.
What?
In New England.
New England.
Northeast.
Yeah, I don't have anybody near there. I have somebody in Georgia that does it, but the reality is, if your mother came to us, or we will be in Mexico in Playa del Carmen, we're going to be seeing people there for treatments. Like we've got people coming there for 3 weeks, the whole 3 weeks. Some people coming there for 4 weeks because we're there for 27 days. So they're coming for actually a month to get treatments through the whole month. And when they leave, they'll have their body back. See, the thing, Kelly, is that what you don't understand is if I were to tell you to focus on the parts of the body, you've got at least 10 blocks in you, Kelly, that you need worked on. Your mother, I guarantee you, she has 30 to 40 blocks. And that's why she's so miserable. Okay? About her body, about her body, about her body, about her body. So you're not miserable about the scoliosis or the fibromyalgia or the mucus in your poop and the feeling like you're growing old and you don't have a handle on it. Okay, I got it. Okay. So here's the deal. People need to take massive personal action in their life. They do. It's like this. We could do one treatment on the hip, on her hips. I would only do one hip at a time because she's so inflamed. But if we did a treatment on her hip, one treatment, she would have 60 to 80% relief in 1 minute, in one treatment. Let me tell you something. And I can't do this with you, Cindy. I can't do this with you. It's a tug of war. So, and I mean that in a loving way. The reality is this. We offer a money-back guarantee that people aren't going to go to surgery that are booked. So you got to think about what I'm talking about and understand this. The problem is that your beautiful tissues, muscles, they're getting twisted and dehydrated like beef jerky. And that's what old age is. You're 61 and I'm 65 and I can do the splits. So the reality is this, and please don't get me wrong. This is not about me bragging or trying to be a smarty. I'm trying to tell you that your potential, you stopped believing that you have unlimited potential when you were a kid. You topped out. I believe even at 65, I haven't even touched my potential yet as a physical, light energy human being. And that's that. You can believe it or not. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning writing this next show I'm going to do and this next guide I'm putting out called The Emotional Intelligence of Disease and Cancer. So now I'll go until 6 today. And Drake, as my witness, he doesn't like to talk much. He's my video guy. But he will tell you that I usually have 20 balls in the air. I couldn't have that unless it was self-care and self-love and staying calm in the present moment, not reacting all the time. If I were to react all the time, I would be exhausted. I'd have fibromyalgia and scoliosis. If I bought into this self-love, self-care thing, which people push away because you've been programmed to push it away, because you actually believe that I'll be good until the next treatment I get, or there's nothing I can do for myself, or I've tried everything. That's the bottom line. So here's the deal. If you want to get a consultation from one of my consultants, I would suggest that. It's $150, and then you get lifetime support. And if you're open, Cindy, to doing that, I guarantee you. But the biggest problem you're going to have is this, is listening and doing. And anything that's higher vibrational than you are right now, you've been blocking. You've been blocking it with our conversation. And not even in the words you say, but I want everybody who watches this show to watch her face. Watch the expression she makes. Watch how she puts up that invisible wall. If you can't get what you don't deserve. So I want you, Cindy, to really think about what you deserve. And don't come from your subconscious mind that's going to say, well, you deserve everything. Well, then why don't you have it? Why don't you have complete health? Why don't you have the bliss and the joy that you've been telling me that you have? You've been telling me you're so blissful and joyful, and every time, and I have to keep telling you to put a slight smile on your face. I think I've given you something to think about, But the reality is this: learn how to skin brush. Learn how to start doing the clapping. These are all inexpensive. Learn how to start loving yourself and participating with yourself. Start putting tummy love in your drinking water. Do the daily cleansing tea twice a day and take the black gold and then tell me you have beautiful bowel movements. But that's going to take you 6 months. You've damaged the lining of your intestine and you've been leaking the waste into your bloodstream. And where do you think it's going to hit? Your hips and your low back. That's where it hits. Why do you think there's so many hip surgeries? Why do you think so many women have endometriosis, have ovarian cysts? They can't get pregnant anymore because of the scar tissue growing in their pelvis. That making love is painful. Bladder infections. This is all because of the large intestine. You're going to have to wake up to the choices you make and go, does this have life in it? Will this bring me joy? Will this bring me happiness? Kelly, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I understand everything that you're saying, but yes, we do have to get her to the deeper level of what deep joy, because she has a deep level of self-hatred, which I think we all do, but I think she uses that she's had so many surgeries, and I think it's a way to self-punish that old guilt.
Well,
so I think
but it's not just that. You pick the treatments that you deserve. So, I deserve to be stabbed. I'm not kidding. I know what I'm talking about. I got 40 years in the trenches. Yeah, I've got people on here right now that say, I don't know what I'm talking about. I got people going, oh, I don't blame her. Look what he's doing to her. I'm not doing anything to her. The whole show, all I've said is, can you just love yourself more? Can you care for yourself more? Can you make better decisions? So understand something. And this might be hard to believe, but I've only had one little surgery in my life, and I'll never have any more because I will never need them. Because I will never have a disease, because I'm at ease with who I am. I love who I am. I will honor, respect, and love Daryl first and foremost before anyone else in my family. Why? Because I'm selfish? No, because I don't want to hurt my children. I don't want to hurt my partner. I don't want to hurt anyone. And love is a self-serve job. And if I love myself, I'm not counting on them. And if they're in a mood and they don't want to love me today or treat me properly, I'm still going to show compassion. I hope you get this, because if we all own this, we would own everything. Nobody would be coming around with the V thing after us. It wouldn't be the V thing they're trying to sell us. It would be victory. My gosh. You know what? It's like this. Tell me people aren't asleep. They've never, ever isolated the V. And then the V they want to give us, okay, isn't even a V. It's something else. The world is so asleep and into a self-hate program without even knowing it. And there's not one person out there that's not running a self-hate program on some level until you do the work. I'll tell you right now, I do have a course that's called Mind, Body, Masterclass. It's only 3 days. It at least gets people to stick their toe in and go, holy smokes, I get it now. But when people come to take my whole life coach certification for 8 days, they leave there going, first time in my life I've owned my life right now. And now I've got the courage and the strength to love and honor myself and know that I'm not dishonoring my family by doing it. And when I start loving and honoring myself, my family's going to go, you're selfish, you're self-centered. And I'll be able to say, no, I'm not. By doing this, I'll only love you more. Thank you, ladies, for joining me.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us, and understand something. Like I told you, there's not bad people. There's just people with dysfunctional beliefs. And you know what? Where did we get them from? We got them from our mother and father and from institutions that we've gone, like our schooling. I mean, nobody knows this, but there was a huge study done by the Rockefellers a long time ago. And they said, when they studied, that if we sent kids to school for 12 years, that they would be robots and we'd own them forever. That's why we go for 12 years. The reality is our parents loved us 100%. They gave us everything that they thought we needed to survive in this planet. Well, I don't want to survive. I want to thrive. And that's why I apologize to my children. I apologize to all of them. And I said, look, your mother and I, we've taught you dysfunctional beliefs and we've taught you functional ones. So when you're out there and you want to do drugs and alcohol and you're all screwed up with your relationships with yourself and everyone else, give me a call, because I'm the one that screwed you. I want to help unscrew you. And that's the God's truth. There's not bad and good. It's not about judging. It's about observing and actually coming together as a family, as an earth family. It's about love. It's about self-love, self-care, and shining that light on everyone else that we come around. You know, today, if I go out, I'm going to leave smiles wherever I go to everyone, whether I know them or not. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm also going to go where there's people like me, brave hearts, courage, not people that will just put something on their face and hide their smiles. Stay 6 feet away. I hope you know that the heart puts out a vibration, a strong vibration. It's 6 feet. If we have to stay 6 feet away from everyone, we don't get to feel their love, their vibration. And if we can't see their smile, that's what makes us human. We're emotional light energy beings, for God's sake.
How would it feel to you? Better still, how would it change your life to be certified in the most powerful training in regards to the emotional and physical body? Whether you're coming to us to enhance your clinic, or for personal growth, or finally, to live your passion and purpose as a natural health practitioner, you are only limited by your beliefs, but that ends today. We will be holding this New World Practitioner certification in the amazing Casa del Agua facility, 15 minutes from Playa del Carmen in the beautiful Mayan Riviera of Mexico. Can't wait to see your smiling face.
Sage is by far the best teacher I have ever touched base with. I've done a lot of courses out there, a lot of programs, a lot of emotional work, mystery skills, but this really touches, it kind of bridges the emotion and the physical component together.
He's fun and he's thorough, and he doesn't, he's making sure that you know the techniques. And so when we walk away from this particular course, and we walk away, we feel confident, and he has given us that confidence.
I took my Touch for Health training in probably about 20 years ago. I also incorporate that into my practice, but it doesn't deal with the crystallization, inflammation, and calcification. So that's why I said that this is kind of the missing puzzle piece that I needed to help people get to their optimal health.
That's the moment where you leave and you become a complete professional in what you do and in your business. You leave with the ability to be a total professional at what you do.
You can deal with the emotions and let that go. Two, I can deal with the physical. But what we're doing with this non-surgical is you're combining the emotion and physical together.
And this is the component that now I can help others. And now I'm here, and I am trained, and I am certified, and I can take this, and I can help you.
Something about this spoke to me so true. The mind-body connection and being energy beings. It's profound, and I want to share it with others so that they can have the tools to feel this love and heal themselves.
And you as a practitioner or doctor will be that guide to help see them transform and help support them through their conflict resolution, I call it, or making peace with things that have been unresolved.
Give me a call. This is your time to shine. Just remember, all questions matter because your life matters. You matter.